While in Thailand, we decided to take a short trip down to a place called Pattaya. The entire city has been built around prostitution, and the heartbeat of this place lies here, Walking Street, a 1-mile stretch dedicated entirely to the selling of sex. I'll let Will tell you what happened.
So, we were walking around looking for God to highlight some people, and Pet, I was walking with her. She wanted to stop and use the facilities, and so I walked into the bar with her, and when she went into the bathroom, I was standing around waiting. I just really felt led to go over and sit in this one little bar. I saw there was some people there, and so I went and sat down, and as soon as I sat down, I was approached by this lady boy, which was I think one of my first encounters with, I know it was my first encounter ever kind of having a conversation with a lady boy. And so I just started to talk to him or her. I'll use both. I just started to talk to him, and I quickly realized that this was a God appointment. So I bought a Coke so I could have a little bit more time there. And just talking to him as they're putting their makeup on, getting ready for their night. I saw he had different scars on his body, scars on his face, and I could see scars on his legs. And as soon as I inquired about the scar on his face, he started pointing me out all the other places where people had broken bottles and slashed him. And there was another woman sitting there behind the bar, and I don't know, I didn't ask her actually what her job was, but at each bar there's like a manager or a bar mom. I think she might have been one of those kind of manager bar moms. And I just started talking to her, and as soon as I started talking to her, Lord just gave me a word of knowledge about pain in her shoulders and in her back, and I had no translator. So I'm like, you pain back here, and she's like, yes. How did you know that? And it was so funny. She looked up at me and she goes, Are you Jedi? And I was like, that's the first. I've been called a lot of things, but a Jedi warrior, never. And I said, no. Jesus told me. And I kept on pointing. I was like, Jesus told me. And she's like, oh, Jesus. And she kind of looked away. She didn't feel too comfortable. I said, if I can I ask Jesus to take that pain away from you? And would you let me do it right now? And she said, yeah. And then I actually made her come around, and so she came out from around the bar, and she sat down on the bar stool next to me. And when she was walking around, the Lord gave me a word for her stomach as well. She had problems in her stomach, and so I prayed for her shoulder and her stomach, and she gets healed. The Lord healed her completely right there. And at that point, that was it. She was kind of not mean, but she was a little, withdrawn from me in the beginning. To now she was just like, what's happened? You could see the Lord just totally touched her. And so at that point, we were still at that first bar section. I said, can I talk to you a little bit more about Jesus? And she said, yeah. And I said, I want to pray for you some more. And she said, I'd love to, but I can't do it here. And so we went to another part of the bar, just a different, where it was alone, where all the lady boys and the prostitutes weren't kind of yelling at her. We went and prayed, and she accepted Jesus. It was just a real precious, holy time, one of those things that doesn't happen every day, but it was awesome. And then as we were leaving, I had that Coke bottle still in my hand, and the lady boy came running up to me and said, no, hey, you got to leave that Coke bottle here. You can't take it out of the bar with you. And so I said, as I gave her the Coke bottle, I said, hey, I want to pray for you. Will you let me? And he just stopped and said, yes, I want you to pray for me. And so from there we went back into by the ocean, and the chairs with another side of the bar with the woman that just received Jesus and that lady boy. We grabbed the translator, and we were able to minister to him. Yeah. No, they were talking because it was myself, the lady boy was sitting across from me, the woman from the bar was sitting on my side, and they were talking, they were telling like, yeah, like all my pain's gone, and like she was like, you know, telling him what just happened, and you could see him, you know, get excited. Not more, I wouldn't say excited, but he was just like seeing this is real, like something's going on right now. He was just himself and totally opened up where I could minister to him. He started to talk to me about his family and how he came from a Christian family. And he said, as we were talking, he said, I used to take communion, and he stopped and he's like, I used to take the bread of Jesus and the wine of Jesus. And I looked down and he was wearing a golden cross. And I said, yeah, you have that cross around your neck. I could see. He said, yeah, this is like reminds me of that. And I just spent time talking to him, just loving on him, just just giving him the time of day where most people would never.